but soon he will learn manners. I will torture his body so that his soul learns to be humble.
Okay, he know we just talking here, right? I mean, we just getting people interested in
Cage Against the Machine.
And we are dealing with maybe the reset button on a division that's been long objected.
Oh, boy.
We might be getting back to reality with lightweight.
Back to life.
Back to...
I think it's too early to
Yeah,
have
you're
the
right.
conversation. But
You're
I'm
right.
excited that finally this fight is happening.
Finally.
I think
This
we're
whole
all
card.
happy. Yeah, but I mean, you know, now the time...
But we're going to have to address the white elephant in the room.
That guy.
Sooner or later, we're going to have to do it.
But I heard December.
Yeah.
December.
Even though they said he wouldn't this year.
Yeah, but it
I can
may
see-
be boxing.
No.
From what my sources tell me.
Oh, with,
But
yeah,
we'll
with
see. We'll
Paulie.
see what's up.
That's what I have a very good source that has come through on multiple occasions who told me, well, we'll get to that later.
I heard it's both.
Could be that too.
Oh my
Because his whole thing is about, like, proving you wrong, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, for those who don't know, we are Cage Against the Machine. I am Sweet NBA, sitting with...
The infamous Boogie, a.k.a. Danielle Cartier, DC.
And it wouldn't be complete without...
I am the doctor, J.K. Akins. PhD, y'all. Not physical. Not a medical doctor.
The wonderful sounds engineering and production that you're experiencing is brought to you by Dream, who is recording everything that we do. Special shout out to our special guest today, Mr. Green. Appreciate you being here. We are going to cover UFC 216,
It is 216.
216.
Lee versus Ferguson, or
Hi.
Ferguson versus Lee.
Ferguson versus Lee.
Either one.
Ferguson
I
versus
don't
Lee.
give a doggone.
Ferguson
Neither one of them
versus
hold
Lee.
the doggone belt anyway.
Right.
So
There's
it's
no
just it's a fight.
But
How about
after,
that?
but after, isn't this for an interim belt?
It is.
So they're
which
gonna
which,
have to
go.
which we
that-
used to call number one contender.
And that really chaps my hide.
I just
but
feel like-
I'll address that later.
I just feel like chaps your hide. It's like
It does.
salsa from
mean-
New York City.
Get a rope.
Y'all are crazy.
I just feel like we should be honest. Let's just say there's the gold belt. That means I'm the champ. Silver belt, number one contender, interim. Let's just be honest about it.
But your boy
Okay,
has
let's
the-
also
your
be
boy
honest
has
about
a-
this.
an
Let's
interim belt.
also be honest about this.
Yes.
That gold belt that is around that person's waist should not be there.
Look.
We'll address that later.
Let's not go down the rabbit hole of the Irish mafia. We know their power. All right. So let's start off with our early prelims. It's so good to have a fight back in Las Vegas.
Yes.
The timing works a lot better. It seems to be when the fights are in other places, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy that UFC has other locations, but it just seems harder to follow the fight when it's other places. Commercials and all this comes in, and the fights just seem off, and it seems like there's a higher percentage of fights that get canceled when it's in other cities. So
It's strange.
it's strange.
Really
So
is
it just
strange.
seems like now they're back
it's
at
kind
headquarters.
of like the phenomenon that when Chris Paul changes basketball teams, a natural disaster seems to happen.
Oof.
I'm just saying.
The
I'm
phenomenon.
just saying.
Something like a phenomenon.
That's right.
Something like a phenomenon.
Let's do it.
And
But
what's crazy there
no
is
place
he
like
recorded
Vegas.
that in Miami. Okay, I'm done. So, our first fight, Matt Danger Schnell, who some of you guys may remember from,
The Ultimate Fighter.
and MTV's Cage, which was a
Yes.
great show that I
Which was
found out
very
that both
good.
Danielle and I really liked, which they should bring back.
I think so.
But I don't know how we justify that, because then it's like, well, you've got teenagers fighting. I'm like, well, you got World Star, which I watch weekly.
That's right.
So,
Wow.
facing Marco
Yon,
the
yon.
Psycho Beltran, which almost sounds like a Cypress Hill lyric. Marco Psycho Beltran.
It does.
United States versus Mexico.
Blah blah blah.
Where are you going with this, JK? We'll start off with you.
All right, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Why the hell is Marco Beltran even here? He does not deserve to be on this level. This will be proven. This will be quick. I struggle to find a reason for Marco Beltran even being on the UFC stage. It's kind of like going to the grocery store and you know you're looking for Cheerios, but you see toasted oats. It's kind of like that.
Sometimes you need a toasted oat. See, you're old enough to remember when that was the only option. Now you go to the grocery store and it's a whole aisle of oats.
Man.
And it's like, what?
Man.
You got a bunch of stuff. But
Man.
you know, I think it's great that you have such a
KO in the
opinion
first
about this
round.
fight. Because I beg to differ. I think that finally they got a matchup that can be competitive for both of these guys.
Oh, so you like toasted oats?
Well, I'm just saying.
You went with the honey nut Cheerios? You was down with the toasted oats?
She might be a crispy rice.
I'm just saying that the UFC has to start to develop talent somewhere.
Yes.
And I think this was his first foray by
Yes.
getting these two young guys. And yeah, there was some missteps, except I think this
Okay.
fight is going to be competitive between the two.
Okay.
I think it's going to end up going to the ground.
Okay.
And I think, I don't think it's going to be a KO, but I do think it's going to go to the ground. And I think it's going to be a decision for, drum roll please, not the guy with the birds on his chest.
Okay.
First Schnell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least you're on the right side of the track on that part.
Hey. But I do think it's going to go to the ground. I think it's going to be
Okay.
competitive. I think it's going to be a lot of scrambles. And I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
I
Okay.
think
Split decision even.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
I go
Split
big.
decision. Thank you. Stole it from me. Yeah, I'm with Danielle. I think this is going to be a commute fight. And what I
Okay.
call this a commute fight. It's okay that I'm in the car on my way up to my cousin's house to watch the fight, and you're texting me about where to park. And if I miss that fight, I'm not going to miss anything. Because it's going to end up, these guys are both have been fighting and active, but they have ring rust, even though they've been active. It's going to be a split decision because it's going to be a lot of amateurism. But the winner of this can figure out what to do next.
Okay.
And see, I think it's going to surprise the world and end up on the main card or something like when they have downtime, too many knockouts.
Right.
They're going to
It'll
push
be a
it up.
repeat.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be more exciting than what people think.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. I think it'll be exciting because I think it will be quick.
Yeah.
Either way.
Quick for me to go get a refill.
Yes.
Coming up next, how am I saying this name? I struggle with the Portuguese. Help me.
Dallas Latest.
See? That's what
I
I,
like
said.
Dallas.
His mama named him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. Versus Brad Tavares. Wow. Danielle, what do you think?
You know what? I like Brad Tavares.
Okay.
I like Brad Tavares, but not in this fight. I like Talis Latest in this fight. I think the veteran is going to get this done. Only because I think Brad, for most of his career, I feel like Brad is one-dimensional. And Talis is multi-dimensional. So I think really this is going to come down to who has more tools in the box. And I think Talis Latest is a seasoned vet. And I think that he's going to be able to pace himself. He's going to let Brad have a little fun. But I think he's going to take this fight down immediately. The first opportunity he has to get a takedown. And I think he's going to submit Brad in the first round. Rear naked choke.
Okay. Okay. Here's the problem with your theory, Danielle. The problem with your theory is that every single time Dallas Latest has to have a fight, what happens? He flatlines like an old fat man
KOs
on a
people.
surgery table.
What are you talking about?
That's what ends up happening. He falls flat on his face. Every single fight that he has to absolutely have, what happens?
And I don't think this is an absolute fight.
The
He's not
difference-
even ranked.
The difference between this fight is going to be one simple thing, and that is Brad Tavares' jab, which in my opinion is the fastest jab in mixed martial arts.
You heard it here first.
The thing is just lightning quick. And when Dallas finally gets touched up with that first jab and he says, oh snap, wait a minute, it's fast and it hurts, it's gonna change the whole fight. Danielle, how many times have you heard me say, when you go to their place, you punch them in the face? It changes the whole fight.
But I'm just saying, Talis has power. He did knock people out. So I don't think he's going to be afraid of Brad. I don't think that Brad has any tools that Talis hasn't faced. Brad has power. He can put Brad down if he wants. I really just think that this is going to be, it's like the young lion versus the old, old established guy. I don't think it's going to happen.
You know
Simba
what?
versus Scar.
You
There
know
you
what?
go.
You know what? And you're probably right, Danielle, but I'm gonna speak to you on this level. And I'm pretty sure you remember this. Vanessa Williams had a song back in the day that says, "I'll be dreaming." And that is pretty much what Lates might be doing. I'm gonna take Tavares by decision, but that is only because I'm playing it safe. I actually think he might be seeing stars like Tweety Bird later.
All right, well, we gonna see.
Dallas does have a propensity for comebacks
He does.
in Vegas
He's gonna get
when
it
he's
done,
really
baby.
hurt. So don't know where it's going, but he's slowing down. He's not speeding up. I don't know how that's going to end. Coming up next, we have John Moraga versus Magomed.
Bilibilitanov.
Exactly what I just said. Clearly, you heard it roll off.
What's his name? Charballs?
Yeah.
Charballs?
Charbosh.
We gotta figure out what that means, but
I may even have him in my fantasy. Is he from Russia or Dagestan?
He is from Russia.
Got it.
He is from Russia.
Okay.
I believe he is a part of the Eagle MMA fight camp.
Oh, so he's part of the clique.
That is correct.
There, you know where my vote's going.
so what's going on? Tell me what you think. I'm excited.
John Moraga hasn't been the same ever since he got thrashed by the champion.
Okay.
It's really just that simple. And then I'm looking at Moraga's and Biblitanov's their skill sets. And while they match up, I'm just not sure where Moraga's head is.
He even looks depressed in his picture.
I mean, seriously, I think this fight is going to be close, but I am going to take Biblitov in a third round KO.
Charbros.
Oh, you said third round KO.
Charbros is going to charcoal.
So I watched, what's his name? Biblet. I'm gonna call him by his first
Biblitov.
name.
Clay. His mama
Magomed?
named him Clay.
Yeah. I've watched Magomed's fights.
What's his
And
name,
so
Pookie?
It's a lot of stuff that I like about him because he's aggressive and
Yes.
he pushes forward and he's all about kicks and stuff like that. And I think that forward aggression is going to minimize because let's be real, Moraga is going to get overwhelmed because of all that aggression. You can only move so far in the cage. He's going to get overwhelmed. He's going to try to go for a takedown. And I think the fear of getting kicked in the face and all that kind of stuff is going to prevent him from being successful at those takedowns. I think Mogomed is going to keep up his winning streak. He's going to be 15-0, and he's going to win probably by decision because I do think that John Moraga is a durable guy, and I do think that he will not get thrashed or TKO'd or KO'd. I think he will last the fight, but I don't think he'll be victorious.
I don't think he'll get thrashed. I think he'll get caught, which those two things are obviously not necessarily connected.
But I think he'll recover.
I think he'll get caught.
He might have some ugly pieces, but I think he'll recover, and ultimately it'll be a decision, but unanimous.
Okay. All right.
It's 2017. Russia stay winning. Moving on next, we have Walt the Big Ticket Harris versus Mark Hand of Godbeer.
I like his tattoos. I'll say it.
This looks like an episode of Game of Thrones we should have seen.
Yes, it does.
They left out of the clip. This is really hard because I want to go with the home team.
I had to learn how to respect the big ticket because he was disappointing me.
Yeah, he was. When
he
he
was
first
disappointing.
first three fights.
Why?
No. I had to get him out of the fantasy league. 'Cause
It
he
was bad.
It was bad. He
I
wasn't
kept
there yet.
on trying to pick him, and he was just disappointing left and right.
Yeah, he's just-
But now,
He's just like the cousin who keeps coming late to the picnic. Right? I'm
starting to believe in the big ticket.
Yeah, no, he's focused. But Godbeer is very scary too.
Can we address one thing?
Sure.
Why is he using Kevin Garnett's nickname? That is Kevin Garnett's nickname, the Big Ticket.
We're just gonna let him have it.
What if I don't know. Where's he from?
Heck if I know.
Who knows? Maybe he has a relationship with Kevin Garnett, and he was like,
Maybe they're homies.
Yeah, you're the new big ticket.
Oh, okay, maybe.
I don't know. Sometimes-
Rowdy.
People are sometimes
The only
funny that way.
difference is that when Kevin Garnett actually went to arenas, the arenas sold out. That's why the name came.
I think we need to start doing predictions. Come on.
Okay. Just saying.
Yeah.
Don't know much about basketball, but I don't remember the
Yeah.
Timberwolves really winning.
Yeah, just
We-
actually.
Have you ever
they
been to
did.
Minnesota?
Unfortunately.
You
We're
have to
off
go to the
sports.
basketball game.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're drifting.
Not a lot to do.
We're
No.
But in
drifting.
the summer, great
Yeah.
festivals.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Lovely
we're
beer.
drifting.
Hand of God is very scary.
Why?
Well, I mean, this is the heavyweight division, right?
He's
'Cause
very
he's
scary.
chubby?
No, because he's got all the tools, and he's not only very accurate, but he's also very tough. So he can stand and bang with people. Plus, he's not afraid. His transition from clinch to striking is also really good.
I wonder if this is an experience thing. That's what really worries me.
I think Walt Harris has got more power than him, but I think Godbeer has had more time to learn from his fights. I don't know how to call it. What do you guys say?
I want you to make a decision.
You want me to make a decision?
I want you to go ahead and make that decision.
I think I'm going for Mark Godbeer.
Really?
I do.
I'm excited.
I mean, I like Walt Harris. It's not personal. I think he needed 2 more fights before he fought this guy. He's fighting somebody who's just a little bit more veteran than him.
Okay.
Well, I guess this is going to be the testing. This is going to be the true test. Me, I don't think so at all. I think it's going to come down to speed and youth, honestly.
Okay.
And I think the big ticket with that reach advantage, I think he's going to cause Mr. Godbeard a lot of trouble. And I think this fight is going to be over in a flash. One, because Walt knows I need to finish this in the first. I need to be aggressive because the less aggressive I am, the more it's going to favor Mr. Godbeard. He's going to start taking me down. He's going to get me in the clinch. I'm going to start flying up in the air. So let me go ahead and get this done quick. And I have youth and speed on my side. And I got power. So time to say KO, Mr. Godbeard, round 1. I'm calling it.
Wow, this is weird. It's like we're stepped in the Twilight Zone.
Because you and I...
Danielle and I actually agree. I can't believe it. Miracles do happen.
You've seen the future.
Do you believe in miracles?
I believe in miracles.
I just personally, I mean, let's be honest, right? This is the heavyweight division. So we all know that the heavyweight division is predicated upon the knockout. Everybody in the heavyweight division pretty much has knockout power. Most of the time in a heavyweight fight, what ends up happening? It's the first person to get caught.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Godbeer will be the first guy to get caught. So seeing Tweety Birds in the first round.
I think this is the only division that you can really say size matters. In heavyweight division, size does matter. And unfortunately for Mr. Godbeard, Walt is the big ticket. So
Just want to point out that Godbeard has more tattoos.
He does.
Okay.
and
He
they're
does.
nice too.
He does.
Moving on.
They're not as good as mine, but tomato.
Yeah, FX prelims.
I think you need to let him introduce this one because this is his.
Yeah,
guy.
no, he's excited. Who is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, our next fight on the FX prelims is one Pearl. I am fine.
Oh my God.
Gonzalez.
You see how he said Pearl.
versus Poliana Boltail.
Pearl.
Pearl Gonzalez.
Might as well be female Venom.
So I want to hear
Shouldn't have
because
fell
I think
asleep
your
in the tanning
girl.
booth.
I want to hear what you got to say about Pearl.
Well, see, here's the problem. As you know,
Here we go.
my opinions always say unbiased.
It's non-biased.
It's non-biased.
Right.
The only reason why I'm going to take Pearl Gonzalez is because I have
She's
not
fine.
is because I have not had the opportunity to actually watch a Boltail
Right,
fight.
right.
Well, I
So
have
you-
taken the time.
Okay, please
to
do.
watch
Please do.
Boltail fight,
Interesting.
then your opinion obviously is going to have more.
and as fine as you think Pearl is,
no, as fine as I know she is.
as fine as you know Pearl is, it is not going to be a good night for her.
Okay,
I think she took-
You know how you know
I
that?
don't know why she took this fight.
You know how you know that?
How do I know?
She don't even have a record. And we've seen her fight. You know what I'm saying?
I saw her fight.
But-
I know you have at least one L.
But
And they trying to save you up there.
Pearl,
like,
why they do
they're
that
trying to
to
like,
you,
hey,
Pearl?
just don't, hey, Pearl look good. Don't.
It don't matter about her.
What's her record? It doesn't matter
doesn't
what her
matter.
record is. The Rock says, but I hear you.
You know,
but again, my opinion only stayed that way because I didn't want to have an opinion
Right.
without seeing Boltail actually fight.
right?
So I didn't think that would be right.
I think this is the sport where rapid improvement is impossible. You see it, right? Like
I
this is the
hope
sport
so.
where someone could go away and train for 90 days, train for 9 months, and come back a brand new fighter.
Right.
Correct.
I could hope that for Pearl, but she looked completely unaware of how
She did have
combat
a deer,
sports worked.
She had a
Man.
deer in headlights look.
overwhelmed.
At least in my opinion, because of the stage, you never know how somebody will respond on
Right.
that grand of a stage. Because we have to keep in mind, it's not like she was on the undercard.
Right.
She was on the main
Right,
card
right.
coming
That's
in.
right.
So we have to be fair at least on that scale.
But it also felt like too her response to the strikes that were being landed on her were almost Ronda-esque in the sense that
were
sense
they
that she
that
That's
bad?
kinda
I don't know
ugly.
about
almost
that.
right.
Don't be.
But
don't
keep
be
it
talking
real,
bad
like
about Ronda, man.
I don't know if they were that bad.
I don't have. It's simple. Look, it looked
She
like
was overwhelmed.
she looked like she was like her facial
I don't think
expressions
she
were
was
like
overwhelmed by the strikes. I think
I've
she
been
was overwhelmed
punched.
by the moment.
The experience.
I think she was overwhelmed by the moment.
That's right, because you know how they say.
Everybody has
Deals
a
with it
different
different.
way.
we might be
Oh.
saying the same thing. It just looked like there was two things. She was to me, she looked like wow, there's a lot of people out there, and two,
Oh my God.
oh, they punching.
Yeah.
Oh, and what trips me out as a boxer, giving her illustrious career as a boxer, I was surprised that she was, again, that's why I was bringing up the Ronda thing. Like,
Which is why I compared it to the deer in headlights.
Right.
Got it.
Because
Okay.
it may have actually been the stage. Now that she's had that experience, we'll have to see how she looks.
so you think
here.
it's Pearl time?
I cannot say for sure because I have not seen her opponent fight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here it comes.
this is the last bias in sports. Because I think in other sports, you can be, like let's say running.
Yeah.
It's not always the beautiful girl who wins the race,
Correct.
Seldom is.
right?
Correct.
And so I think this is probably the last industry that if you're pretty good looking, you can probably have a career in the UFC. If you beat up a couple bums, you can probably make it to the UFC. You could probably make it to the main card because you're beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. But the beauty gets beat up by the beast. And I think this is what's going to happen to Pearl.
Okay.
I totally hope, Pearl, that you've been training and you understand what you're getting into because you're dealing with somebody who's super aggressive
Yep.
and who's very, versed in submission, and she attacks off her back. She attacks from every position.
Can you
so
give
if
us-
Pearl was overwhelmed in her first fight, she signed up for more of the same.
Can you give us the background on Balteo? Can you give us the background on her?
You know what? I didn't check to see if she was trained in Thai
No,
boxing or anything yet.
what I mean by give us the background,
Yes.
meaning her fight style, where
Her
has
fight
she
style,
fought?
she's aggressive.
Where has she fought?
I'm trying to remember if it was Legacy or if I seen her another promotion. Literally, I just went to the YouTube videos and I put in her name.
Okay.
And Botello, she's aggressive from every angle. It's like when you start the fight, she's in your face. If she gets you against the cage, she's clinching, she's throwing elbows, she's throwing knees. If she takes you to the ground, she's going for submissions. She's super aggressive.
So this is the only real mystery of this prelim, this prelim. So you're saying Boteo, and you don't know.
I do not know.
I'm gonna go Boteo just because I wasn't impressed by Pearl, but that doesn't mean she doesn't look good.
That's right.
And it's not taking anything away from her boxing
Right.
career. Moving on to our next fight. One Lando Groovy Vanyata against Bobby King Green. I just couldn't believe your predictions. I just don't understand. Let's make this short and sweet because it's easy. What do you got?
I'm going to let you go first.
What do you got?
All right. So obviously we know that Vannata is a very well-rounded striker. Maybe even the most well-rounded striker in all of mixed martial arts. And that's being completely fair.
Okay.
Possibly the best in the game today in terms of his ability to go from kicks to punches
His
and
transitions.
back to the other.
Right.
His footwork, he may be the best in the business right now.
Okay.
Obviously, we know with Bobby Green may be the best boxer of the two.
Right.
So right now, it's really, for me, it's more of a question of who gets off first. I am going to call Bobby Green in a second round TKO.
The king.
However, do not be shocked if Vannata catches him with a heel hook and Bobby Green goes night-night. Do not be surprised if that
So
happens.
this was a pick'em fight for you.
It was.
I remember Groovy when he bust on the scene.
Yep.
And he made a lot of, people were surprised, like, oh, wow, this new guy. Now he looked completely different. I lost his hair or shaved it or whatever.
Well, he's at the Patriots of mixed martial arts.
Is he?
Starting to be the Cowboys.
I'm still going for Bobby
boy.
Green. You know why? Because I think Bobby Green is fast.
That he is.
I think he's evasive.
That he is.
Interesting.
If he can avoid the takedown, Bobby can get it done. But see, Bobby has a tendency to play around during his fights. So I'm hoping that he's being a little bit more serious because he's going to probably try to win by decision. And if he tries to win by points during this matchup, I think he's going to end up on the bad end of a split decision. So he's got to really take this fight seriously, and he's got to try to win decisively.
Counter strikes are the key to victory for both men in this fight.
Correct.
But I think Groovy's going to go for the takedown and try to control Bobby on the ground.
You don't have to, because Bobby Green trains with the Diaz's. So he's going to leave that leg out there all day and get chopped down.
So my prediction is
Always going to be Londo. And it's either going to be TKO by leg kick or it's going to be KO second round by spinning attack.
Ooh, Groovy.
just because Bobby has not evolved and he still is doing this sort of Black Nate Diaz thing that he's not really good at. He's not good enough to do that.
Agreed.
And I think that as we saw with the fight at 215 with Gilbert, which was really painful to watch. Leaving that leg out there is exposed.
Wait, we gotta say something though.
And by the
because
way,
what was my prediction for that junk?
We are only blocks away from the El Nino training
I know,
center.
except what did I tell you? I tell you, man. Poor Gilbert.
Poor Gilbert.
Gilbert.
That was really hard to watch.
Jeremy Stevens is the striker that Gilbert wish he was. It's just what
Gilbert
it is.
Melendez.
Gilbert's just older.
Gilbert needs to retire.
Gilbert Melendez is what I prefer to call
a Strikeforce king? No.
The crocodile of mixed martial arts.
What does that mean?
He hasn't evolved.
He hasn't evolved.
Well.
And at some point you have to.
And also you couldn't beat Jeremy Stevens without having El Nino first.
Now, see, if you talk about somebody who never should have been in the UFC, I firmly believe it was Gilbert. I thought that when he was in Strikeforce, he had no business going to the UFC.
At this point,
he had no choice.
At this point,
it was a bad pick.
With what we've seen, I have no choice but to agree with you.
What I knew was going to happen.
I have no choice but to agree with you. I mean, I personally, there were only two people out of Strikeforce that I really liked going in the first place, and those were Daniel Cormier and Tyron Woodley.
You guys are tripping.
And we've seen how that went.
That's right.
You guys are tripping.
It worked out.
The whole AKA camp. Anyways, moving on to the next fight.
The Carney.
Speaking of coming over to the UFC and should be here.
Why?
Ill Will. I named myself after Nas's friend who got killed. And maybe that's what's happening to my career. Brooks versus Nick the Carney Lentz. Nick, a.k.a.
Okay,
I have a Twitter beef with BJ Penn that nobody cares about.
Can I just make this short, sweet, and simple? Why the hell is this fight even happening?
Because we needed somebody.
What is the point? This was nothing but a space filler.
Absolutely.
This does absolutely nothing for me. It does nothing for the sport.
You ever look
it does nothing for the division.
You ever look at the inside of IKEA furniture?
Should be in the UFC any damn way.
It
should be a one-way trip to Bellator. Hell, maybe even ONE FC.
No.
Why are we even talking about this? I would rather just skip this fight altogether.
Where did Will come from? Because he was a champion in...
He was the Bellator champion.
It was a World Series of Fighting.
He was the Bellator champion.
But see, this is why I keep saying, like... I sit there and go to fights, and these people had these conversations with me. Oh, if Gilbert was just in the UFC, with Will Brooks, the junk does not translate.
It does not.
It never translates.
The difference. It is literally the difference in between the NFL and the CFL. Case closed.
It's like Pop Warner and the NFL.
Do we even need
honest?
Do we even need to have a conversation about this fight?
No.
Do we even need to do it?
And I think the UFC.
Yes, because we want to know who you think is going to win.
The UFC tries to bring these guys over because they have eyes, so their eyes follow them because they want to know what happens. So.
But also sometimes these guys will just jump over because they want to be part of the big brand and they'll take a cheaper rate. So the UFC is like, cool.
So, quick pick. Who you got, since it's that easy?
Who you got, man?
It's not that easy. That's the problem. It's because they both stink.
I like the Carney. Don't tell
I'll
me
show
that.
you. It's really easy.
Nick Lentz by decision.
I'll take Lentz by decision.
I took Brooks. I ain't gonna
There
lie.
you go. See, I told you it was easy. Moving on to the last fight.
I said split decision though.
Tom, the Fire Kid. How does
My French is not that good.
I'm not gonna try. You just gonna get the Duxanoy
Quinsoy?
versus Cody
Keesnoy.
Spartan Staman. Oh wow, that yeah, you need to retake that picture. That's a little too.
You know that looks
Thunder
sexy.
Down Under.
He looks smooth. I just want
Knew
to
that
rub
was
his
coming.
stomachs.
Anyways, moving on. Oh, something's wrong with that dude's right side. That's the first place to put a liver kick because he's weak there. All right, who's winning, France or United States?
USA.
Good luck with that.
I do not see Dusnoy losing this fight.
Really?
He is on a roll.
Sancho guy.
This is a
They
train.
got matching
Preview.
records.
Sancho guy.
This is a train
Yeah.
that will not be stopped by
dude's-
Cody
this-
Stunman.
yeah,
I'm gonna
this
tell you
dude's
that
a
now.
Beast.
We gonna see.
I'm with
Okay?
JK.
I'm-
First
I'm
round
gonna
KO.
I'm actually calling second round.
Wow.
Okay.
Second round.
By high head kick. His,
Absolutely.
After followed up by a spinning technique to the belly.
I will be the voice of reason and say
Please.
that Stanman is gonna go ahead and he's gonna take him down because he
Nice.
knows what's at stake and he can take down people all day.
That takedown is going to be met with a choke that he didn't think
Or
Frenchman knew.
he's gonna get caught flush on the chin with it on
I don't
with,
think so.
with the chin on the
I
knee.
think he's gonna control the fight from the ground and it's just gonna be win by control. I don't think he'll go for submissions. He'll just keep him on the ground and take him down at will.
Well, you know, if we all agreed, it would be a totalitarian moment, and we're not about that.
That's right.
This is not cage with the machine. This is not cage for the machine. This is cage against the machine. We're going to take a little quick break. I am Sweet NBA, joined by
Danielle Cartier.
and the doctor, J.K. Akins.
and we'll be right back.
We made it this far because of you, and we need more. If you tuned into Cage Against the Machine podcast via iTunes, we need you to act. Follow us on iTunes, rate us, comment, share with your friends, and post this podcast to your social media. Thank you.
And we are black.
Yes, indeed.
Cage Against the Machine, covering UFC 216, which is Ferguson versus Lee, Lee versus Ferguson,
This is a sexy card, man.
which almost sounds like a pair of jeans for dads. Right? You know what I mean? Like, try Lee Ferguson's new sexy card.
That's right.
Mama, take you out for a steak dinner.
This is that one though.
This is that one. We are now starting with the main card. We have, which appears, Battle of Date Rape versus
Serial killer.
Serial killer. Benil Darush versus Evan Dunham. These pictures do not do you any flattering.
Not Evan Dunham.
Not at all.
No.
You guys both look creepy. Let's see what's going to happen here, though. I'll start with JK on this one.
First of all, any guy who has tattoos that just looks like a big giant black blob and you can't even actually make
It
out
looks
what
like
the
it's
hell
flowing,
the tattoo
though.
is.
Well, the top one is a dragon.
Oh, is that what it is?
But the bottom one, I can't tell you. Might as well be. Might as well be
I think it's the
Ublik.
body. I think it's the body of the dragon. Like the
something.
head is coming up here and the body's down
And you know,
there.
and even though all
Damn,
the,
you guys got
And
imaginations.
it got the little hand like this.
All the times
he's like, man, you can't talk about tattoos if you don't have them. I mean, it must be
Damn
bad.
right.
It must be bad if JK's defending or attacking a tattoo.
Yeah, it looks like a chest burster down there or something.
Evan Dunham, we love you.
It literally looked like somebody just took a bottle of ink and just threw it on his body.
Yeah,
They hating.
It was just like,
yeah.
They hate Mr. Dunham.
They tarred and feathered him.
For trying to tax without representation.
Anyway, back to
The Brits are here.
prediction.
Yeah.
So, are you going with
British are
Iran?
coming.
Are you going to Mr. Darush?
I don't know, man.
Man,
I feel like people don't remember.
I remember King's MMA.
Benil was the
Darush.
hot ticket, bro.
I got a question.
I got an answer.
Why is this fight happening again?
Because
They need to fill
because
the
there's-
card.
Because there's other King's MMA people on the card, so they have to be booked there too.
There you go. Maybe it was a deal.
See how it works? See how I was
Including
telling you it's
5
about
of
the
our
teams.
guys.
It's about the super teams, man. So yeah.
The
And we got-
Warriors.
That happened with the Amanda Nunes fight.
That's right. I know all
right.
of y'all that
It
are
was like
hating.
a
Y'all
team.
probably
Yeah,
hate
it
me
was a
right
lot
now.
of.
Top team. So what do we think is going to happen here?
I think it's going to be Beneil all the way.
Okay.
Because I remember how dominant he was, and I'm happy to see him back. So let's get back to our winning ways and take Dunham out.
Got it. How about you?
This is a tough fight to call.
Yes.
I just have a few questions.
Yeah.
Question number 1. I'm wondering whether or not Evan Dunham realizes that the end of his rope is really near. Question number 2.
I feel like he kind of looked at you differently now that you said
You
that.
see that? You see that little shift in his eyes?
Question number 2. When is Dariush going to realize that he actually has to get away from Rafael Cordero?
Never.
Question number 3. Why is this fight happening again?
He can't get over
We
it.
explained it. Package deal.
So,
Package. They got Darush in the divorce.
So
Well,
take your pick, bro.
at any rate, I will go ahead and take Dariush by a TKO.
see?
Okay.
In round
2.
2. Nice. See, I say decision because I think it's going to be a tough fight. Evan Dunham, I will give credit.
I personally believe it is a tough call,
Yeah.
but mainly because, like I said, I believe that Dunham is at the end of his rope, and I think that Dariush just needs a change of scenery.
It's a pick 'em fight for me. It's either going to be Darush by second round TKO or it's going to be Dunham by third round submission.
Well, let's move on to the new sexy.
Yes. Speaking of which,
I loves the Black Beast.
Fabricio Cavallo Verdum, the Joker. What a Joker. Versus Derek the Black Beast Lewis.
Before we talk about who's going to win this fight, I'll tell you who's going to win on Instagram every time.
Here we go.
Yes, indeed.
Derek Lewis.
Every time.
He's
Derek
awesome.
Lewis's Instagram feed is the single most important thing I do when I wake up in the morning. Not checking the stock market, not making sure if North Korea is going to send a missile at us, but Derek the Black Beast Instagram. That footage of him going around in a boat rescuing people in Houston is like, why are you not watching this sport?
And his big truck.
How could you? And everyone kept saying, did you see that big black guy saving people? Yeah, he's an MMA fighter. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you not watching this man? He is incredible.
That being said,
Take your pick.
man, this is a really hard one. It could go two ways.
If the Joker does that, I'm going to lean forward 3 inches and keep my chin out. He's going to go to sleep.
night.
He's going to sleep.
If Derek is convinced that he's going to do a
Ground and pound, then he's going to get choked out.
So with that being said, you are going to pick.
I can't call it
This
because
is a pick 'em fight for you.
it's not even a pick 'em because they just cancel each other
Yeah,
out in these
it's not-
techniques. So it's so hard.
I'm kind of
So
in
who's
the
your
same.
pick?
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Really?
Where there are so many things that could happen, and it's one of those things where if Verdum makes a mistake, he goes to sleep. If Derek makes a mistake, he goes to sleep,
yeah.
like getting choked.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a pick 'em fight. At first in my brain, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so awesome. And Derek Lewis is going to knock him out. But then I start thinking about reality. And I say, you know what? Derek Lewis has issues with stamina. It's just what it is. And I love Derek Lewis. But, dude, we got to start running on the treadmill. It's just what it is.
And
You
that- and
picked
that's
this
fair
sport,
enough.
not me.
That's
it's like
fair enough.
You can't win everything in the sprint. And let's be real. You already know Verdum is a smart guy.
Yeah, and
He's
that
a
is the
fun
reason
guy,
why.
But he's a smart guy.
And that is actually the
Verdum
reason
is going
why.
to tire him out. And then he's going to sub him, I say, round 3. If Derek Lewis can even make it to round 3, I really think he'll
I
probably
actually
sub him
picked-
in round 2.
I actually picked Verdum by decision for the exact reason that you explained.
Yes. I don't even think Derek Lewis can make it to a decision in a 3-round fight at the pace that Verdum is going to put on him. I think Derek Lewis is going to be extremely tired by the end. And that's why if you look at his new videos on his Instagram, this new, this new workout, got me moving faster because he's trying to build stamina because he knows as he goes up the ranks, he's not going to be able to survive without stamina. He can't fight Stipe. Not in this shape. He can't. It's like and I mean, it's been the
Verdum can't
downfall
fight
of many
Stipe in this
fighter.
current shape that he's in either. So
Yeah.
that's a null and void point.
But I feel bad because I feel like Verdum never gets the respect he deserves. You know, I went to his fight with Fedor back in the day.
Man.
And people was making fun of me and they was laughing at me because I kept saying Verdum is going to like sub Fedor so fast.
Right.
And this guy was sitting by me and I said, when he does it, just look at me and say, oh my God. He subbed him so fast and dude was like, oh my God. And I
Right.
said, I keep trying to tell y'all, like Verdum gets slept on all the time. So I think this is going to be another opportunity
I don't know
for
if he
Verdum to
gets
show
slept
up.
on. I don't know if he gets slept on.
He's
I
going to
think
get respect though.
he's
Because I mean,
one,
let's be real.
he's one of the
PBR
greatest
thinking Derek
heavyweights of
Lewis
all
is-
time.
But then you saying Derek Lewis can knock, you know, is gonna knock him out. We don't really take into account his full set of
I
skills.
never said that.
You were like, it's a pick'em fight. It shouldn't be.
I'm saying-
if people
I'm
really
saying-
had the respect they had for Verdum,
I'm saying that that it could happen. And if you don't think that it could happen, then you are seriously fooling yourself.
a lot of things could happen.
Just like I said, and correct me if I'm wrong, we can roll back the tape. Just like I told you that Miocic would knock out Verdum. What happened?
That was there's some controversy about that though.
There was no controversy.
But you know what I'm saying. People
Go
could
to
argue that was a
sleep.
lucky punch.
Go
That's
to
why I'm like,
sleep.
I would want to see it again. Because I think the second time it'd be more competitive.
He's never gonna make it there.
No.
Dang.
He can't make it past anybody.
Verdum, they don't love you, man.
It's not that I
a
don't
lot of
love him.
hate.
It's just that
Too many
it's just
better
that I
people.
just yeah.
We gonna see.
He's at the end of his rope.
Okay,
He's
so
38
so
years old.
let's play this out. Let's say the Joker wins. Who does he fight next? Certainly not the champion.
definitely is not
You haven't
getting
earned that.
Miocic.
So who is he gonna fight?
Well, who do you think is number two?
Who's he gonna fight? Horse
He's
meat?
number 2, isn't he?
Who?
Verdum. Isn't Verdum
That's
number
why
2?
I'm saying. Who else would he fight? But
Who did he
Stipe.
beat to get? Who did he beat to get to number 2?
He lost. That's how
That's
he got
right.
to
That's how he
number
got to number two.
No, he's had a fight between then and now.
2. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he
he
has.
has.
Who
Who'd he fight?
Who did he fight?
I thought he
can't
fought.
remember.
What's his name? Barnett. Did he fight? Did he
Was it
fight
Barnett?
Was it a while ago?
Or did he go and kick Hopper Brown in the face
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you really
and won
can't.
and won by decision? You couldn't finish Brown.
You couldn't finish Brown.
He's
You
very
ran
durable.
across the ring in the first 5 seconds and kicked this fool in his
Oh,
mouth.
dude, I remember that. That was
Oh,
sad.
And you
that
couldn't
was that.
fin-
Oh, I remember
That was
because that
that
was
fight.
that was
Yeah,
our. That
remember
was
Verdum
probably
was-
You
Yeah, he
could
was, like,
not
going
finish
crazy on
Ronda's
everybody.
baby daddy.
that was probably our most legendary.
mean her husband?
That was probably our most legendary podcast.
And then I remember he was angry.
Mortal Kombat!
Yeah. And he was angry with everybody after. Like he was fighting his own camp and like
Fighting
that was
Edmund.
bizarre.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you really telling me you beat Travis Brown by decision and you're number 2?
Well, that's
You're
what I'm
the interim
saying. Here we
champ?
go. Let's
Give
see
me
if
a
he beats
break.
Derek Lewis.
Give me a break. There are much better heavyweights. Go fight Ngannou. Go fight somebody else. Like earn something.
Nobody's looking to fight Ngannou.
Wasn't he supposed to have a fight?
Nobody's looking to
What
fight
happened to his fight?
Ngannou.
Didn't he get injured or somebody got injured and
No.
that's why it didn't happen?
Dos Santos
Not-
got
Oh,
popped
that's
again.
right. For the yeah.
And he's done for 2 years because that's sad because that's who he should be fighting.
But you know what? Maybe that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna fight the winner of these two.
Nobody's trying to fight Ngannou.
Sean Shelby, make it happen, bro.
Nobody wants
So let me
to fight
recap.
Ngannou.
Let me recap.
Why do you think Ngannou didn't get a replacement fight? Nobody wants a piece of that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No, that's not true. Horse Meat called him out.
There you go.
Horse Meat thinks he's going to get him to the ground and take him out there.
There you go.
We'll see. That worked out so well for him against Miocic.
Wait a minute. With what submission?
Oh, dude, I'm saying. And then you still got crafty Mark Hunt still in the mix.
He's suing the UFC.
So he's got a rematch. He is owed a rematch, right?
Okay. Well,
Don't
there you go.
isn't Mark Hunt owned a rematch against Verdum?
Let's see if they give
Why
him a
not?
fight.
Why not? Verdum
not?
popped. Okay.
Why not?
So now you're going Verdum by what? Submission, second round?
Yeah, RNC.
I'm going by decision.
I say he's gonna
Verdum.
choke him out.
Okay. I'm gonna go second round Lewis knockout.
Ooh.
Moving on
happen.
to the co-main event, which if you're a real fight fan, if you really have some sense about you, you could argue that this should be the main event.
Absolutely.
We understand the marketing and the hatred have made it the co-main event. It is what it is. I'm still skeptical that this is actually going to happen. I won't believe this is going to happen until they lock the cage.
You know what? That's because Ray Borg. You know, I think this
I'm
is
going to call
why.
conspiracy right now.
This is why the UFC didn't want this fight to happen. I remember I seen Ray Borg when I had went to another fight. I didn't even know it was him. He looked so like bad before the weigh-ins. Like he looked like he was gonna die. So I'm sure the
But he always
UFC
looks
is
like that.
we do not want a champ who has so much weight cutting issues. We don't want to keep going
I think
through
there's a
this every
bigger.
single time.
I think there's a bigger issue.
What's
I
the
do
bigger
too.
issue?
I
Are
do
y'all
too.
fit to be?
Because if you you break the legacy of the greatest of all time, right? With Silva, at least you had somebody who was participatory. Yeah, I'll come down and save your card a couple times. I'll show up I'll take an L in Madison Square to save the card. You don't have that with DJ, right? So if DJ wins, he becomes the new guy that nobody but hardcore fans have heard of.
He
right?
has a following on, what is that, Twitch?
He does. He
Wait,
does.
no,
But
wait, let's go back.
Speaking to
Let's go
Lord
back.
Joseph
Wait, let's go
Howard.
back.
Hold on.
Let's go back.
Danielle, hold
Let's
on.
go back.
Can
Look what she just said.
can-
He has a following on, what's that called?
Twitch.
That
Exactly. And that
the fact
says
that you
it all.
said what's it's called,
That
answers
says it all. That says it all.
Xbox gamers do not watch UFC.
They play the game.
That's why the new game sucks so much. EA, shots fired.
Oh, dang.
So, we have Demetrius Mighty. Can you update the name right? He done told you it's not Mighty Mouse. Demetrius
They ain't
Mighty
letting it go.
Jansen versus Ray, the Taz Mexican Devil Borg.
So, how does this play out any differently than we spoke about it last podcast?
It doesn't.
I will make this plain and simple. This fight for me is just simply summed up in a couple of questions. How will Ray Borg approach this fight? Will Ray Borg find a hole in Demetrius Johnson's game? The answer to both of those the answer to the last question is no. I am taking the champ by submission, and he will become, as we already knew, the greatest of all time.
Well, see,
Which he already is, in my opinion.
I'm going to have to change my nickname to The Answer because you keep throwing out questions. So I'm going to have to be the answer.
I just put out the answer, Danielle.
I'm gonna
It's
have to be the
obvious that you
answer.
weren't listening.
I heard what you said, but my whole thing is, what does Ray Borg possess that all of Demetrius Johnson's past competitors, what do they lack? He has nothing that Demetrius hasn't seen before. That's why this
No
fight,
fighter-
in a sense,
there's no fighter that-
pointless.
There's
But
no fighter that has an answer for
I guess
Demetrius
just
Johnson.
on principle, Demetrius wanted to clean out the division and make it official,
Right.
and so he had to have this fight with
There's
Borg.
there's still two more people left.
You know what? I wouldn't mind watching the Trujillo fight over again because I felt like that was abrupt, and I think it would end too fast. So I wouldn't mind actually seeing that fight again.
Which fight?
You know what I'm talking about? Gold shorts,
No, between who and who is what I'm asking.
Demetrius Johnson.
And who?
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. That's what I'm asking.
The former Olympian.
Oh, not you.
Oh,
man.
Henry Cejudo.
Cejudo, that's his name.
Who looked
Cejudo.
nasty. Who looked nasty.
He looks really good.
He
I wouldn't
looks
mind seeing that fight
nasty.
again.
That karate stuff he's doing, he looks
He
good.
looks
but
good.
no.
And I think that fight was over too fast.
He's
So
What do you mean
to
it
me,
was over too? Which fight was over too fast?
It was over too fast. That title fight he got.
It was over too fast because Demetrius Johnson ended it.
How come he couldn't be like Pearl and be like the lights? I've never been here before. I'm shocked. I'm
Because
overwhelmed.
he's been in the Olympics.
That's okay.
He was on a global scale. That's completely different.
I don't care. I want to see that fight again. So once
And
he
this
beats
is
up
the
Ray
reason
Borg,
why. This is the reason why I wished you watched other sports so you could actually grasp.
I don't care
what
about
I'm
other
saying.
sports. If you watch this sport more, you would grasp what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind watching Henry Cejudo fight Demetrius Johnson
If I watch
once
this
more.
sport more, really?
I'm just saying.
You're
if
just
this was
saying
the
what?
only sport that you watched, you'd be more like, I get it. So I want to see that fight again. I
Nah,
don't think
you
that's
just
bad.
don't understand sports in general.
Yeah, right.
My prediction, Ray Borg is going to get sick again.
Oh, dang. You saying it didn't even happen. But see, what did I tell you about that
Well,
fight
that's
with
what
John
he said.
Jones?
He
It
said-
wasn't going to happen for
He
real.
said that he won't believe it until the cage locks. He
It's not
said
gonna
that.
happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I am going to concur with our Mr. Sweet. I do believe that there is a conspiracy going on that is holding Demetrius Johnson back from breaking that record. I am gonna have to concur
And I will-
until we're proven otherwise.
I feel the same way about Jessica I. There is a conspiracy against you, Jessica I. How many opponents have pulled out?
Pause.
I'm just saying.
Big time pause, double time.
They saving Paige Van Zandt. They didn't want her to get hurt.
And that was for women. to
I'm
prove-
just saying.
To prove we're not
Because
phobes.
Jessica, she was going to put them hands on you. but we'll never know.
Paige really can't fight. Anyways, moving on. We have the fight that we were denied in January of this year. The real, let's get back on track. The bread and butter, the second most exciting division in the entire UFC organization to myself. I'm a favorite of middleweight division, and then I love the lightweight division. But that's not just because I'm a 160
the lightweight division is the deepest.
The white
It is the
weight.
deepest.
The
Yeah, it
lightweight.
was for many years the lightweight.
Shame on me.
We have the number 2 versus the number 7. I do feel a little bit ambivalent that one of these people, I don't know, should necessarily be here, but I got to say before I start, the trash talk, which I always am excited about, has been really good. So
You
we
think
have,
so?
yeah, and I'll tell you
The
why.
Motown phenom.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that knucklehead in a minute. Tony El Kokue Ferguson versus Kevin, the Motown Phenom, Lee. The trash talk has been great. Whoever put together that clip of them talking at each other, where they just sampled and showed how many times, like Kevin Lee says, in a sentence, was hilarious. Okay, and then the stuff weird. Tony says great stuff. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna punch him so hard he's gonna taste acid."
And I'm gonna sharpen my
Elbows.
My elbows.
Karen Bryant's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, nickels,
Sharpen my
dimes,
weapons."
quarters. Every time I punch him, his mouth is gonna feel like currency." I'm like,
Now I would like it better if he
who
like
thinks
spit
like
up
this?
nickels and pennies and
Yeah.
junk. That'd be funny.
who thinks? I know, like you punch him, it's like
Yeah.
it's like a Mario Brothers. Like
Yeah.
you punch a boodling,
Coins and junk fall out.
Oh man,
Wow.
I'm glad this fight is happening. I'm glad that Kevin Lee knows how to sell it. I love his story coming from Detroit, being able to change his family's life, not going down the same road everybody else is doing in Detroit. I also love, him being a college athlete and really perfecting. And I'm always a fan of a young brother trying to do something positive. He talks a good game, but I don't understand how he got this fight.
I just want him to get a stylist.
I don't understand. Well, that's that Detroit thing. That's the Detroit thing.
Stylist.
I
What are you
can't.
talking about?
Oh my god.
She's upset about the pink Adidas suit, right?
He just so badly.
But you got it. That's that Detroit Midwest thing. I just need to understand very quickly how he got this fight. I feel like he should have gone through Alvarez.
Yeah, why? Because he's beautiful.
I feel like he's
a beautiful man. Look at that. He's an Adonis.
Look at his belly button real quick.
He's beautiful.
Look at his belly
Some
button.
chicks are into that. You don't think so? I'm just saying he's sexy.
Too much info.
UFC's down with the sexy. I'm just saying.
Now I taste nickels in my mouth. Gonna throw up through my nose. So, what do we know about these two? You have an exceptional wrestler. I'll give him that. But then you have Tony Ferguson, who
Is
has,
extremely well rounded.
and just unorthodox with his striking combination of Wing Chun, Taekwondo, Sancho.
I love Tony Ferguson.
He just really brings it together. He's really ill. And then you got that no-gi, 10th Planet, Eddie Bravo, jiu-jitsu that makes him so unpredictable on the ground.
He's great.
And then also maybe one of the record holders of knocking somebody out with an up kick.
Tony Ferguson is the man.
He is the man.
That's why I'm like, what on earth do Kevin Lee think he's gonna bring to the table?
Kind of crazy. It's almost like
I'll tell you what he brings to the
like a-
table.
It's like a
Wait, let me
Ford plant.
pose it in the way of a question.
Uh-oh. No, you're the answer.
I
You're the
know,
answer.
but now he's trying to switch positions.
I tell you what he brings to the table. He brings extreme athleticism.
Isn't
is-
that the cliche of every black athlete?
No, explosive.
I'm sorry, an extreme athleticism.
No. Explosive. They call us explosive.
Yes.
Very explosive. But they never call us athletic. Because athletic would
No, they never calls us skilled.
athletic would acknowledge we're human. So yes, moving on.
Yes. He brings a level of athleticism to a fight that very few fighters in mixed martial arts across the board can match. However, with that being said, I do believe that Tony Ferguson is the more well-rounded fighter.
Yes.
And I don't think there's any question about that.
Right.
Kevin Lee, however, is so fast. He is so strong. And that is where he takes advantage of a lot of the positions when he gains the advantage, he's able to capitalize on it with his quickness. So that's what he brings to this fight. Am I saying that he's going to win it? Not necessarily. But your question was, what does he bring to the table? And that is what he does.
Okay. Yes. So on a treadmill, he can outrun him. He can outlift him. Will that win him this fight? No.
I agree.
Unfortunately.
we're all in agreement.
And he's beautiful. And
now
he
we're
has
not
an
in
Audi.
agreement. Now we're not in agreement.
Ladies, you know it's true.
So if I hear you guys right, we're all three agreeing that Ferguson wins.
It's a unanimous decision.
The question is, how does he win? For me, it is a 3rd to 4th round submission after a number of strikes that might as well have been a TKO and a late call.
I'm going to go decision.
Okay.
I'm going to go for classic Tony. KO, baby.
Nice.
People forget that Tony got power. I used to love to watch him knock everybody out.
Yeah.
So he's going back to that old Tony because he's mad and he's sick of dude talking. He going to put him to sleep.
Now it's time to address the elephant
Here we go.
in the room.
No, we'll save that for after.
For the after party?
Yeah, after the party. It's the after
Hotel
party.
lobby. I want to go to the hotel lobby. What's up?
I am Sweet NBA, joined by
Dr. J.K. Akins.
and also with.
The infamous Boogie, a.k.a. Danielle Cartier.
We are produced, recorded, and engineered by Dream. Special shout out to Mr. Green Willie. We'll be right back. Cage Cousins, how you doing? This is Sweet, co-founder of Cage Against the Machine. For a year or so, we've just been bringing you content, trying to show you the things that we care about when we watch fights, especially UFC fights. And you probably heard us alluding to this app. I won't say that it's completely ready, but it is ready for you. And you should check it out. So, go to cageagainst.com, click on fantasy, sign up. And one of the coolest things that we're really excited about is aside from challenging your friends at each and every UFC event, you can also really kind of put your money where your mouth is. You could challenge your friend for a beer. For example, DeShawn Davis, super producer, he made the mistake of telling me that a certain fighter was gonna win. I told him it wasn't gonna happen. I challenged him and he paid for my beer all night. It was wonderful. If he keeps challenging me, he's probably gonna end up paying all my parking tickets. This is just a wonderful thing that we keep doing. But we don't want to be selfish. We want you to be a part of this. Again, go to cageagainst.com, click on fantasy, sign up for the app, join the conversation. We'll see you soon. And we are black. Whoop, whoop. Cage Against the Machine, the hot topic of the month. So many things to discuss. Something I wanted to get off my chest.
So little time.
And there's only one way to say it, Cage Cousins. I told you so.
Told you so.
I frigging told you so.
Told you
I think
so.
that is unanimous.
You've been asking yourself since this whole project started, why y'all go so hard on John Jones? Why are you always going in on John Jones?
Because he constantly proves us right.
Absolutely. Because we know, there's the thing, real recognize real, and that means what's left over is fake recognize fake. You embarrass us. We want to be your fans. We've always wanted to be your fans. We knew this day was going to come. We never wanted this day to come.
But because you have the propensity to be a knucklehead who borders on narcissism,
you should run for president.
Definitely.
You would win.
You probably win.
You would win. Think about it. You get to pretend you're Christian. You lie to the people.
Yeah.
You're pro-violence.
Yes.
You do drugs behind the scenes.
And think that you won't get caught.
Right.
Man, John, they go hard on you, don't
We're
they?
going to go hard on you. I say it all to your face. What you gonna
Straight up.
What you going to do?
Straight up. Straight up.
What you going to do?
Straight
What
up.
you going to do? Put money in my bank account?
Straight up. Because I don't bow down to children.
Well,
that was just a shoe.
I would bow to
That was
his
like
children.
DC shoe flying in the air and trying to hit you in the head.
I'm like, I still believe in the whole FBI and the mob kind of rule, like women and children are out of it. Mm-hmm. But John, I'm always going to, until you change your ways. That nice little, and so shout out to the current and all-time great light heavyweight champion of
Daniel.
the UFC, Daniel.
DC.
Daniel,
Cormier.
yes, I have time to talk to you,
Cormier.
Cage Against the Machine, Cormier.
Indeed.
Yes.
Daniel, yes, I brought my Tupperware and I'm eating my diet. Trail mix, Cormier.
The namesake, DC.
Daniel,
Indeed.
hey, DeShawn, hey, Brett, why don't you come over here and take a picture with me in the belt? Cormier. All right, we're done with that. So I'm not talking about you anymore. You did it to yourself. You are officially the Rick Ross of MMA. We're moving on.
And yeah, we'll see you around, I don't know, 2020, 2021?
If that. But hey, and by the way, Phil Davis, Ryan Bader, World Series of Fighting is hiring.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So,
Dang.
Moving on to the next hot topic of the week.
JK wanted to deal with the white elephant in the room. Again, I kind of don't like when you say those things because, one, I'm not that big anymore, and two, I'm not that light-skinned. So it is offensive to me. But what did you want to talk about?
The fact that the so-called current lightweight champion of the world needs to be stripped of the title.
Yes.
The precedent has already been set. He is not going to defend the title. He's not going to do it. He is going to take either, from what my sources tell me, will actually be another boxing match. And from what I understand, it could possibly be Errol Spence Jr. That's what my sources are telling me.
Okay.
Or he would take a fight against Nate Diaz. So if that is
In December,
indeed the case, if
Which
that
is probably most likely.
if either of those are indeed the case, he needs to be stripped of the title. Let's be honest.
Unless
he has been spending this time ducking Habib Nurmagomedov and Tony
Unless
Ferguson.
wait.
Habib got injuries.
Unless he is fighting Diaz for the belt at that weight.
He's not fighting. That doesn't even make sense.
But that's
There's
kind of
so
his
much
point.
that doesn't make
That's kind of
sense.
his point.
That this one actually makes sense. It's
Yes.
like, like Star Trek. I haven't watched the new one. I hear it's great. But like Spock used to talk about.
Discovery.
Right?
Yes,
When
You
you
rule out everything else, the impossible is real.
Right.
Okay, so Nate, although he lost a couple times, if you think about it, before he fought, let's just think about the math real quick, the MMA
my
math.
God.
Think about this. Let's go back.
Before he fought Conor McGregor the first and the second time, he took out Michael Johnson.
I understand.
Michael Johnson went off and fought Khabib, who then got a #1 interim shot. So by that MMA math, Nate has qualified
Oh my God.
for a number
These
one
are
shot.
like guys who I talk about. They're like, this is the unification belt.
Right.
So, makes sense.
So he has qualified for that, right? By those rules.
I understand.
I doubt it will happen at that weight, but I would like to see it. I would like to see Nate fight him again. I do think if there was surgery and recovery and all that stuff, Nate would take him in a third fight.
So I just want to
I
implore.
do not want to see that fight.
I just want to implore people who make sense, like the decision makers, because I'm not going to sit here and talk mess about people who don't matter. I'm saying UFC, hashtag this so they can reach it. I'm going to tweet y'all. I don't care. But my whole thing is, what are you doing to the sport? I know you guys have undergone new ownership, but it's like you're degrading the sport. We won't even talk
Absolutely.
about the Snoop cast and all that
Absolutely.
other kind of stuff because it's like, I understand you guys are Hollywood people. So I respect that, try to get the money, put the entertainment value back into the UFC. But to a certain degree, there's a level of legitimacy that has to happen. You've taken the legitimacy out of the sport. And
How
you
many
guys are
times have I
supposed to be
said
the
that?
front runners in the industry. It's like you're making a mockery of the sport.
Let me give you an analogy. The owner of the UFC
Owners,
is the blood brother.
before or
Is the
after?
blood brother of the former chief of staff of the White House.
Well,
Did you know that?
one of the owners.
One of the majority owner.
Okay.
Because the Fertittas are gone now. By the way.
Right. They left.
They got another $4 billion.
Which speaks volumes about where MMA is. But I mean, to me, it spoke volumes when they decided to sell.
Well, that they had their own ulterior motive. They are looking to own an NFL team. So that's what
Yes.
that's what
Except
that sale was
ultimately-
Because
about.
their cousin owns one and they don't.
Yeah,
And they're sour about it. So
Yeah.
Right, and I believe their cousin just bought the Houston Rockets.
Right.
But I mean, realistically, ultimately, they're business people. And when you reach in the saturation in the market, they know there's nowhere to go. You've reached the ceiling. So they seen afar off because they're business people and they're well versed in the language of business that saturation is happening.
Yeah,
And
but-
there's nowhere else to go. Unlike NFL and all this kind of stuff, who is unlimited money because is well established and people are nuts for football all day, every day. MMA has limits because
But here's-
it's only going to appeal to so many people. It's gotten maximum exposure.
To a degree, yes and no. But here's the problem.
Who has not been exposed
Here's the
to
problem
MMA?
with it. There's this myth, and I'm going to walk down this road that's going to get me in trouble when people want to argue. There's this myth, kind of like the same way that people believe San Francisco has millions of people. Okay? It's not the fact. There's also this myth that everybody in the world watches the NFL. They don't.
No, I'm not saying that.
Right.
And NFL is heavily subsidized. So only Americans really like it. You go anywhere else in the world and you call
They're
it football,
saying-
it's
yeah, they're
soccer.
saying, what the
right?
heck is this?
And we always talk about this. There's two things that you can find anywhere in the world because most of the world is poor. Somebody sitting in a dirt field kicking a ball and somebody sitting in a dirt field kicking you in the head.
And then I'm going to tell you something.
That's why soccer and MMA.
And
so
I'm
think about,
gonna tell you something honest. Who cares about those people? They don't. They don't care about those people. That's why
Well-
soccer never caught on here because
well,
we
you
don't
would-
care.
you are
we
invoking
don't
the-
care about that.
you are invoking
We're
the
Americans.
Michael Jackson
we don't care
clause,
about that.
which is all I want to say is they don't want to care about us.
But it's true.
But what happens at the World Cup? Look around the world and the populations of how these people invest in it. So let's think about it. When's the next UFC? Look at this. When's the next UFC in China?
When they
actually
decide.
soon.
I know who's headlining,
It's actually
It's in
pretty soon.
Shanghai.
right?
Silva versus what's the kid's name?
Gastelum, right?
Yeah.
But that just tells you something.
Kelvin.
There's not even a Chinese name headlining.
Right.
So think about the market cap that hasn't happened yet,
Right.
right?
Except will
There's no
it?
right. No, just take a moment.
I understand what you're saying.
There's not like the great grandson of Bruce Lee.
No.
There's nobody. China's how many billions of people?
It's 1.3 currently.
Right.
You watch WWE?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm
You
a
watch
grown
WWE?
up.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. So.
Yeah.
And thank you for
We
leaving
can
me
do that.
hanging. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
So I can look like that one guy at the bar. Oh, it's my
I'm like,
dog.
what?
All right. So I don't really watch it, but I do understand what's going on with entertainment. WWE has a champion who's Indian.
That's because everybody's trying to capture off this new market.
Bingo. So,
Yeah.
so I do not agree with the saturation. I think in America, it's only the tipping point to the point is like this.
Correct.
JK and I go to the same barbershop.
Right.
The barbershop has people who look like us. Out of all the barbers, and barbershops, I don't know if you've ever been one, black barbershops are known for always talking about sports, right?
That is correct.
There's only 2 barbers in there who knows what we're talking about.
Well, and barely then.
Right.
Barely then. And then you know what they
But-
say? Where do y'all be watching the fights at? Where can I go? And we're like,
Right.
dude, you don't really get it? You don't see the posters? So even then, we even had a combo one day. We're like, where y'all going after this? We said, we're going to go tape a podcast. He says,
What's a podcast?
Well, how old are they?
Younger than us.
but not too young.
Okay.
Mid-20s. So my point is, back to everything we do here, there's a huge, that's why Snoop is on the Snoopcast. There's a huge market
except-
of us who don't watch.
Well, you know what? I think what it did, and that's why the UFC was able to be sold for X amount of billion, because I do think that people feel like, I feel like it's fictitious.
Yes.
Because I feel like people feel like, oh, once you reach every single person, and I'm saying I think that's actually happened. Either people care about it or they don't, because it's like those people pretending like they don't know what's happening. If you actually show them, they'll be like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, God, man, it hurts my stomach. I don't want to watch
Nah,
that.
people-
It bothers me. Oh, God, some guy getting kicked in the head. It's so barbaric.
But then-
like, I've heard it over and over and over again. Even if they don't know the UFC by name, when I show them what it is, they seen
But
it
then look at
before
them-
and they don't want to watch.
But look at the
Okay.
Mayweather fight. You know how many
true.
people that
That's
dumped in as
reality.
fans? Look how many people started becoming MMA fans after that fight who thought they were already were.
But they
And
really
found out-
aren't. Because they even, trust me, I was there with my family. And it's like, oh, they love Mayweather. They love Mayweather. If it is, I can give them free tickets to the UFC, nobody wants to come. No one wants to come. I literally cannot give away tickets to the UFC.
You got free tickets?
I have free tickets for so many fights. No one will come.
How?
I'll be your family.
I know.
Okay.
This is why I'm here.
I still think there's still time on that. But you're right. So what would be the deadline you would think we need to
But
strip
see-
this guy from?
See, here,
It should have been happened, but
should have
they
happened
won't.
already.
But we know because he's the only one. He's their only superstar. Look what just happened.
And see, and
They won't.
here's the interesting thing about this. Here's the interesting
They're
thing
not going to
about
strip
this.
and they have nothing left.
No.
For me, and since I am the guy that watches sports across the board, I'll tell you this is what makes it interesting for me. What makes it interesting for me is that according to how much the UFC sold for, the UFC almost has as much value as the NBA, and basketball is a global sport.
Right.
That's the thing that makes it very interesting to me. However, with that being said,
Global
brand, not global sport.
No, but global brand.
Global brand in that you could go across the world, like we
and
were
you
talking
can
about.
probably buy a football jersey in China.
Or you go to New Zealand, everybody's wearing Warriors because
Right.
that's the
It's a
greatest
global
team of all
brand.
time today.
Right.
Right.
But we will never watch a team of the New Zealand All
I know
Blacks
what you're saying.
versus the Warriors.
Right.
But the
I would
thing
love
is,
to, but it's
what
not
I mean
there.
is, what I mean
not gonna
is,
happen.
What is
what
it,
I mean.
the
Hold on.
Olympics?
Hold on. What I mean
Most
by
we get is Toronto.
what I mean by saying that basketball is a global sport is that every single first world country actually has a league
Yeah.
of their own.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. There is an Australian basketball league.
Yes.
There is a Spanish, a French,
Yes.
a Portuguese.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But except for the Olympics, we never get to see them play each other. And that's a mistake.
Well, I mean, you can't.
I mean, back to
because of the-
baseball, right? It's called the World
can't
Series, but it's like,
because-
well, how many world teams do you have? What, Canada? The Blue Jays? Come on, man.
You can't.
At least the
because of
NBA is
the
honest. The finals.
Well, you can't because of the logistics. But the part that you do not know that I can fill you in on is that the EuroLeague champion and the NBA champion does play in the preseason.
See?
Right?
There we go.
But I'm saying, logistically, we could have the champions from America play the champions, do a tournament against
Sure.
all the other leagues.
But
right?
you know, they
and
try
we'd
to
all
do that.
watch it.
They
Sure.
try to do like the U.S.,
When?
the Smashers and all that stuff, and against the UK and the USA versus whatever, Ireland or something on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yes, but
I
I'm saying,
was no more excited about that than I was any other match.
But Ireland was.
I didn't care.
But you didn't. But that's my point.
Yeah,
That-
Ireland cared, though.
Ireland
Yes.
cared, and that's why we have Sauron.
Well, but see, that's what I'm
Australia
saying.
cared,
Yes.
and that's why we have Whitaker and Hunt and all
Yes.
that.
Right.
And I think for people, and that's why, all the U.S. fighters are angry and stuff, because you have so many nationalities and ethnicities in the U.S. to where, you can kind of pick the guy that you want. Not necessarily because he's from the U.S. You might have some other ties to the other guy. And you
But that's
might
the other thing that
like him.
Americans, that's a problem with Americans is they're
Well, yeah,
nationalistic
that's
until
what
they're
I'm saying.
tribal, right?
Yeah.
So Americans talk that America stuff, but at the end of the day, man, I'm from LA. I'm rooting for LA.
Yeah.
Right?
And then that's what
football
happens.
figured that out. That's why they don't beef. Football figured it out.
And that's why that U.S. versus stuff doesn't work kind of with us. Maybe for the other country, but not necessarily for us.
So the last question of the day. Do you really believe there's conspiracy against Jessica I?
You know what? I think something.
Oh, no,
is
it wasn't
going-
even Jessica I. What do you think happened with the whole Claudia?
You know what? I wish Claudia didn't take this fight, but I mean, it added some clarity to the title picture. I just like Claudia, so I'm sad that she lost. It was disappointing, but I feel like this was bound to happen because Joanna, it was a grappler heavy at the
Yeah.
top end of the division, so I knew Joanna wouldn't get real competition until she came lower in the division where all the strikers were.
Right.
And so now you having striker versus striker because you're having Rose Namajunas versus, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So now you're going to get to see striker versus striker.
Which I don't understand because Joanna's talking about if I win against Rose, I'm moving up. And so
That's
I don't,
because she knows
you're gonna fight
I'm
your
going to be
teammate?
facing more and more strikers. So if there was ever a better time to move up,
Yeah.
is before I lose the belt.
Yeah, but then you're going to face your teammate.
That's okay. Some people don't care.
Well, hold on. If Joanna moves up, it would be 125, right? Not 135.
Yeah, because she's at 115.
Yeah. She'd be moving up to flyweight.
125.
Right, because there's a middle ground. Right, I keep getting them reversed.
And really,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
no
Safe.
It's an open. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
she would
way.
dominate
be
there.
open.
Yeah.
So, and as we
With her
know
height.
that, there's
Oh,
the
no, no, no,
Ultimate
no, no, no,
Fighter,
no, 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 no,
there's
no,
the
no,
Ultimate
no.
Fighter tournament that's
Right.
going on. That's
not
for
safe.
the 125 championship.
And it's not safe then because Valentina's moving down.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Remember? She's like, if I don't get the decision,
That's right.
she's like, I'm appealing this decision, and if I don't get it, then I'm moving down. So,
It was great how angry she was
and we
for
know
fighting such
she's
a
already
crappy fight.
and apparently she's already smoked.
And as we
Joanna,
know,
right?
And as we
She's
know,
already smoked Joanna once, right?
Well,
And Muay Thai, right?
supposedly,
yeah, Muay Thai.
yes,
Yeah, Muay Thai.
So
that happened.
that was disappointing, but I'm glad that so far the best fight of the year has been two girls. So that's cool.
That is fitting.
Any other hot topics going on with UFC this month that we want to talk about?
No, I don't.
I
think
mean, my whole thing is I don't even know what this fight is about. I mean, the UFC has got to get it together.
Well, you know what it's about.
It's going to lose market share because, I mean, Bellator is quickly rising. And, I mean, at the end of the day...
Whoa. Slow your roll. No, it's not.
I'm just saying. No, because, I mean, people... And, I mean, I do think that Scott
Bellator
Coker...
is no good.
I think that Scott Coker had a good point of view. And I always liked Scott Coker. And he had a lot of success with Strikeforce. And they were really the UFC's number one contender. And that's why they got eaten. But... Scott Coker is smart because he's like, you know what? There is a market that isn't being tapped into, and that's the casual fan. So Scott Coker doesn't mind putting on lopsided fights so you can see these spectacular knockouts because ultimately people want to see spectacular things happen in the cage. And so they cater to what the people want. And really the only way that my uncle started watching MMA and calling me and stuff because he started watching Strikeforce on TV.
Right.
And why? Because they're sensational fights. Bellator has been putting on sensational shows. Have you been to a Bellator show?
I have been to a Bellator show before.
You got booms and fire and big screens.
But I wouldn't call it sensational fights.
Well, you know they aren't sensational fights, but they're fun.
I would suspect we'll have this conversation again in 2018, and UFC will not be on Fox.
No, because they're losing their broadcast partner. We'll see what happens.
But it'll be very easy.
The contract actually comes up at the end of this month.
Yeah, no, it'll be very easy for them to figure out, and it'll be, like you were saying to your uncle, it'll be easy for him to find them on TV all the time.
Yes.
That's coming. That's absolutely coming. This has been an absolute pleasure. I am Sweet NBA with also...
The infamous Boogie, a.k.a. Danielle.
And
the doctor, J.K. Akins.
We are recorded, engineered, and produced by Dream. And with special guests helping us on social media, Young Willie Green. Thank you very much. We'll see you next month.
Gia.
You know it.